I've been looking for a new clock to replace this for the garage, and I think I found it. Let's take a look. Hi, good morning, welcome back to Mike Makes It. Taking a look today at a couple of clocks I bought. One is to go in the workshop, one is to go in the kitchen. Comes in two different sizes. Measured diagonally, there's a 13 and a 16.2 inch. The 13 inch, forgive me for going to metric and imperial, but 13 inch diagonal, the actual metric sizes are 32 by 10.5, and the 16.2 inch clock is 38 by 13 centimetres, so a tad bigger, and I went for the bigger one in the workshop, so it's a little bit further away than in the kitchen. Comes in a variety of colours, a combination of white and red, white and green, blue and white, orange and white, and pick them carefully because some of the clocks, the one in the garage for instance, I've got white time numerals and everything else is green. This one is switched round, it's vice versa. Doesn't really matter, it's your own personal choice, but do make sure when you're ordering you know exactly what you're going to get. Multifunction on here, as I say, we've got hours and minutes, obviously, because it's a clock. You've got the month displayed in numerals, not actually saying January, February, etc. But you've got the second month, 9th day, 16 degrees in the workshop at the moment, and it's a Friday. Now, disconnected from the wall power supply, come with a 3-meter cable, USB-A. I've got it powered up through a battery bank at the minute. If you turn them over, you've got two AAA batteries in here that'll act as battery backup should you lose power, so you haven't got to go in and set everything else up. You've got buttons on the back. You can also manually set the time of date, etc. You don't need that because they give you a nice little remote control, which is handy if the clock is up on the wall like it is in the garage. So we'll go into this in a second. But you've got a cable here that plugs into a socket on the back, and if you need to, you've got a cable tidy here. You can tidy the cable, so it's doing exactly what it says on the tin. So if your power supply is only a foot away, you can roll all the cable up on here, which is nice. But let's plug him back in. Another function on here, which I haven't used, I must say, is a count up or count down stopwatch stroke timer. So we put this, balances so it's not shining. Alright, there we go. Remote control. Let's see if I can get these functions right. If you want to switch it off at night, it's too bright, say in the kitchen, on and off. Let's have another look. You got count up or count down timer here. So we press the bottom left. There we go. Ready to go. You press OK. And it'll do exactly what it says. It's counting up now. So now if you're timing yourself on a job on a car, for instance, or you're charging somebody for repairing something, could be handy for that. You got an egg boiling in the kitchen. Once again, you've got a good, nice little timer. You can click OK and it'll stop. I've not found a way of resetting it yet, apart from switching it off and back on again. Then you can go straight back into that function. Off, back on again. Now we're going to do a countdown timer, so we press the bottom bottom right hand button this time. Put in the time you want it to count down from, so we'll say 11 minutes 11 seconds. Click OK. Off it goes again. So this is not really a function I've used at the moment, but possibly in the future I might. But switch it off, back on. One other function on here, you got a little minus button on the remote. You can see here there's no display apart from the number. You got let's get that in the light a bit better, 16. So I'm going to hold the minus button down for a few seconds. Daylight saving time, that's what allegedly it stands for. But you'll also notice there 16:11. If I press the minus again, it flits back an hour. So in Great Britain, when we move the clocks forward or back an hour, as long as you've set it to the right time to start with, you won't have to go in and fiddle with the settings on here. You can simply hold the button and it'll click over to DST, which is nice. Setting the time and date up on here is fairly straightforward. Click the set button. 24 hour, you can go plus or minus on the keypad to set you between 24 hours or 12-hour clock. Set again hours, plus or minus. Minutes, plus or minus on the control again. Year, set, plus minus, you get the idea, I think. Plus or minus, pick the right month and day. And if you leave it for more than a few seconds, as you saw there, it'll save it and come out. There you go. So as it's not 4 o'clock here at the moment, I'm going to press minus. And it goes back to the exact time in this particular part of the world. So the smaller clock is on Amazon at the minute for £23, which I think is fairly good for what it is, to be honest. Excuse me. And the larger clock, the 16-inch, is £28. They've got discount vouchers on there at the minute, so you also get another 10% off. But it's fairly well built. I can't take it apart. It looks like all clipped together, so I'm not going to break it. I'm going to put it back on the wall in the kitchen so we can get the old eggs timed up. But the one on the garage, I can show you that in a second, just before we end the video. Slightly bigger, it's further away from me. So being bigger is good for me, and also with a remote I've got to get a ladder to change the time on it. So yeah, we'll swing round and I'll close the video on you looking at the bigger clock on the wall. Anyhow, thanks for watching Mike Makes Here.